Have you ever had that moment where you've been working on something, maybe a song or a drawing, and by the time you've finished it and looked down at what you've made, you're just overcome with crushing disappointment? Well, that's something the developers of these next 5 games have probably had to deal with quite recently. When Keiji Inafune left Capcom in 2010, franchise fans of Mega Man were worried. Mega Man Legends 3, which was just starting to take shape, was inevitably cancelled and left many, including Inafune, disappointed. Inafune and his new company Concept announced Mighty No. 9, which was dubbed the spiritual successor to the Mega Man franchise, and fans were excited. The Kickstarter was funded within 2 days of launching and went on to raise over 3.8 million, which, if I did my maths right, is an increase of around 327%. That's a lot of money. With a release date of April 2015, things couldn't have looked better for the game. Until the game was delayed 3 times and failed to see the light of day until June 2016. There was also kind of a PR scandal where the community manager was employed due to nepotism and wasn't even a fan of the franchise. And then there's the now infamous launch trailer. That fire, though. For fans like myself who had hoped that this game would lead down a darker route than Mega Man and follow the X franchise of games more closely, we were immediately done with the game when we saw the Minecraft base pre-order bonus on the cover. Like, come on Inafune, really dude? Although Capcom may have been laughing at the reception Mighty No. 9 received, it wasn't long before they'd be making a similar mistake themselves with Street Fighter V. The game clearly was not going to be anywhere near finished by its release date in February. So why didn't they just delay the game, you ask? Ah, smart question. Well, the game was predicted to do extremely well at the oncoming EVO Games tournament. This led to the company deciding to put the game out essentially unfinished. There was next to no single-player content, but oddly, this may have been the right choice. It went on to break entrant records at the EVO tournament. The game mechanics themselves have always been solid, and graphically, it looks incredible. I mean, look at that fruit cart salesman. That's a background character. I want to play as that guy. They've worked to add in new content like the challenge mode, new characters like Balrog and Guile, and are constantly working on the servers. This is great, but the game disappointed most users on launch, as you can see from its still mixed reception on Steam. Essentially, by making the decision that they did, Capcom have ousted a lot of their casual player base. Now, the competitive scene is very strong with this game, and it'll probably continue to be, but I don't see it picking up any of the casual fighting fans it could have had. Plus, all the praise I've given this game so far are things that should have been in the game at launch. I shouldn't really have to commend a game company for still working on finishing its game months later. It took until July 1st for the game to implement a single-player story. Also, a few users like myself haven't been able to connect to the online servers in a very long time. It really puts a dampener on all the work going into this game. So maybe fix that and we'll talk. Back in August 2013, Lionhead released a trailer for Fable Legends that had Michael Gambon voicing the villain. That's a good way to make your game look awesome right from the start. It was a free-to-play 5-player game where 4 heroes went up against a villain who tried to stop them progressing through the level. This concept sounds great to me, it's like some AAA version of Crawl. Even better, it was going to have cross-platform multiplayer between PC and Xbox One. Where do I sign up, right? Well, unfortunately nowhere, because as of March this year, the game was cancelled. No real reasons were ever given as far as I can tell, and Lionhead Studios was ended a month later with the remaining game servers being closed down. The game seemed pretty much finished, so it's quite a shock that they would have done this. So, dropping the ball a little bit there, Microsoft. What are you going to do, put out more Kinect games? Could have put that money in a service for this. If you haven't heard of Missing, that's understandable. It's a 45-minute full-motion video game, FMV for short, by Zandel Media. You haven't heard of Zandel Media either? But they're famous for other great games such as the unreleased Missing Episode 2. Okay, I'll be honest, this one's a bit of a self-indulgent post. I'm a fan of FMV games. Her Story is a great one to pick up if you're new to the genre, or I guess if you're part of that Tumblr crowd, you can pick up Sybil. It's alright. But Missing was released as an episodic FMV game, where you would solve puzzles to advance the story. It was handled well, and even had some pretty decent camera work and acting in parts. Through this, it managed to pick up a pretty small but dedicated audience, who've waited close to a year now for the second episode. But due to low sales, as it said in the company's Facebook post, the game has become too difficult to finance more episodes, leading to the dev team stopping production of the game and leaving their player base pretty bummed out. Now, I've had a pretty rocky year with episodic games. This game was okay, you know, a solid attempt. Maybe I'd have picked up episode 2. Then I tried out D4, which a lot of people aren't fussed on, but I loved it. It's a complete mess with over-the-top characters, and sets up a lot of plot devices for future episodes. So where are the future episodes? Come on, Sweary. You left a lot of space on that episode selection screen. What's going on there, pal? My advice is if you're going to release an episodic game, have episode 2 completed or near completion before you release episode 1. I don't care if you don't meet your sales figures, the 100-odd people out there who play your game have given you money for an experience. They deserve at least an episode 2. Maybe you even leave a section open so you can tag a fake ending on, just for that little bit of closure. If no one buys it, cut your losses. We're going to finish off this list with a doozy of a game right here, Rocksteady's final entry in the Arkham series. It's fairly infamous by this point, but when the game was ported over to PC for the Steam release, it became one of the worst ports of all time. The game at launch was pretty much unplayable to most of the people who'd bought it. Warner Bros. Seeing this pulled the game from Steam to stop new players purchasing it and began working on fixes. Keep in mind this is not an indie game. They could have just kept raking in the money at the expense of the franchise, although they did put the game on in this state in the first place, so let's not pat them on the back just yet. So how long did this fix take, you ask? 4 months. Yep. That is long. Unfortunately, it didn't really resolve much, with the game still being a broken mess for a lot of players out there, resulting in Warner Bros. Stating that the game was virtually unfixable. People need to work on their PR. Now, you may be wondering what's happened recently to make this game includable on a 2016 list, as most of what I've just said took place last year. Well, the reason I think this should still make a list in 2016 is down to the simple fact that they've cancelled the ports for Mac, SteamOS, and Linux. Now, you're probably thinking, but I run a Windows PC, why should I care about this? Well, think of the large part of this franchise's fan base, which was promised for over a year now that this game would come out on their operating system. You gotta feel their pain. So, if this list has taught you anything, it should be to never trust anything that comes out of the mouths of game developers. Or people in general. Well, thanks for watching, folks. Top 5 video comes out every single Friday on this channel, so hit that subscribe button for more content. A playlist is up now, so if you feel like looking for more, click the video below to go there.